I'm looking at all of these people in the jury, and I'm like, dang, who thinks I'm guilty? And then I look at you, and I'm like, dang, she thinks I'm guilty. But I'm glad to know that I was very wrong about that.
Welcome to Syncreate, a show where we explore the intersections between creativity, psychology, and spirituality. My guest today is Cyrus Gray. I'm very excited to have him on the show today because I think his story really exemplifies creativity and resilience under what for most of us are unimaginably difficult circumstances. Our paths intersected, or you could even say our fates collided,
Right.
one day in a courtroom in San Marcos, Texas. So what do you remember about that day and how we came to know each other?
When I noticed you in the jury selection during trial, I leaned over to my co-counsel, and I was like, "Hey, this lady is looking at me crazy." Yeah, you know, when some people are focused and paying attention and concentrating, their focused face is kind of like. So in my mind, this whole time, I'm looking at all of these people in the jury, and I'm like, "Dang, who thinks I'm guilty?" And then I look at you, and I'm like, dang, she thinks I'm guilty. But I'm glad to know that I was very wrong about that.
So my perspective on that, I show up at the courthouse that day just thinking, jury duty, I'll probably be out of here by noon, go get some lunch, and then all of a sudden it's a murder trial.
Yeah.
And as the day goes on, it becomes more and more clear that I'm likely to be called as a juror. I had a really low juror number, and, people kept getting dismissed, and I was still there. And I'm thinking to myself, I've got concerns, let's say, about the criminal justice system in Texas to begin with, but I'm thinking to myself, well, if I do get called, maybe at least I can help ensure there's a fair trial, right? I'll be as objective as I can. I'll hear the evidence presented, and we'll see what happens. Well, what happened over those 2.5 weeks is that I saw absolutely zero evidence that you had anything to do with this crime. Yeah.
Yeah, very true. My first court-appointed attorney, the first thing he said when he finally met me was, wow, you really went for the big one, didn't you? All right. That's the introduction. Like, this guy definitely believes I'm guilty, And he showed that. He came to see me like 3 times, 5-10 minutes max, and he would try to convince me to take a 40-year prison sentence. And when I would tell him, like, hey man, I didn't do nothing, I'm not gonna just throw my life away, He'd be like, oh well, I gotta go pick up my wife, or I gotta go pick up my daughter from school. One time he was like, how old are you? At this time I'm still 23 years old. I'm 29 now. I just turned 29 a few days ago.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. So you're like, how old are you? You're like, you're 23, right? You're still young. If you take this 45, you'll do like 20 years. You'll get out around my age. Look at me, I'm still out here partying. I'm still out here sleeping with girls. You'll have a lot of life left to live. And the thing with that makes it even worse, I'm not a citizen. So you're trying to convince me to take a conviction on a crime that I didn't commit. You're not even educating me on what could happen if I get a conviction, being that I'm not a citizen.
Right.
You're not considering any of those things at all.
Right.
You're just trying to get me out of the way because you believe that I'm guilty.
Right.
So